Hey, everybody. Short one today just to give you a sort of an introduction to a couple of film noir um, screenings for our genre discussion. Um, First of all, actually, sorry, a bit of business. I hope everybody got the email I sent about a bit of an extension for you on your Hollywood Renaissance research projects. Those are not due the 11th. I think they're due the 20th. Anyway, it's in the email, but gives you about another week and a half on those. So that should help you out. Um, if you have any questions on those as you're going along, by all means, get in touch with me, um, however you like. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I said we Zoom today, but all the little stuff that is listed on that sheet of notes that we would have talked about is probably less important than that you get some screening time to go with um, the genre stuff that we talked about. So I'm asking you to watch two films between now and Monday. One of which is squarely exemplary of the film noir genre, which I'll explain in a minute, and another is a more contemporary take on it that has associations with it, but also variations on it. So, um, first of all, film noir is a cycle of films. Okay. First of all, um, film noir is, depending on who you talk to, a cycle of films, a period in films, or a genre of films. I'm not going to argue this point. Um, that comes about in the 1940s, and it has been with us ever since, and a very very strong, very indelible kind of character of genre of film. It's very interesting. It's very fascinating. It's very compelling. Um, what happens is during the Second World War, um, American films are embargoed because in France because France is occupied by the Germans. After the war, a bunch of films get dumped on the French culture, and France has a very has always had a very strong, very vigorous film culture, film appreciation culture, and has one of the biggest film archives in the world, La Cinémathèque Française in Paris. Um, and so it's a film obsessed country, kind of like America. And a lot of the film fans in France begin to look at some of these American films. And they begin to realize there's something kind of dark going on. There's something kind of ugly, sort of bent, you could say. Just something that is not altogether optimistic and happy, which is really, quite frankly, what a lot of American films are and how they're known internationally. And so this kind of film comes to be known as film noir, literally black film in French, and it is characterized by a number of things. Visually, it's characterized by black and white photography, although that is not always mandatory. It's characterized by a lot of urban shooting, a lot of shooting at night, a lot of literally dark compositions where there's not that much light available in the frame. One of the most indelible visual cliches of or traits, if you prefer, of film noir is light coming through Venetian blinds, and you'll see that in one of the films that I'm asking you to watch. Um, so light filtering in and kind of outside light kind of illuminating barely what's going on inside homes. Um, so anyway, uh, that's it visually. It is thematically, it has to do with the dark side of human nature, depravity, adultery, murder, greed, avarice, all the things that make the human species so charming. Not necessarily the better angels of our nature. I'll put it that way. Some films noir have a kind of an interesting skew towards the question of communism. This is a time of the Red Scare and a lot of very strong anti-communist hysteria in the United States from the mid 40s through really the whole Cold War era, but mid 40s forward. Um, and so some noir films have that element in them, but the ones I have asked you to watch, don't. Um, anyway, so to the films. The two films that I'm asking you to watch are Double Indemnity by Billy Wilder from 1944 and Blue Velvet by David Lynch from 1986. Double Indemnity is one of those films that's really a great film because it is a super exemplary film. It's like, some kinds of films, I've mentioned this to you, you don't quite know what to show to say, if I show a Western, there's so many. Which Western do I show? Film noir, you can always start with Double Indemnity, and it's a terrific place to start. It's based on a short novel by a guy named James M. Cain, Cain. Um, and you'll see what it's about. It's about some people who get up to no good very quickly, and in a very ugly kind of way, having to do with insurance. In fact, the title refers to double indemnity, which means that if somebody dies in this certain kind of way in the film, as you'll see, the insurance claim pays double. That's double indemnity. Um, James Cain wrote two really great books, rather short, 120 pages maybe. They're great reads if anybody wants to read them for extra credit. One is, of course, Double Indemnity, and the other is called The Postman Always Rings Twice, which was also made into a very good film noir, and has been remade as well. Okay, so Double Indemnity is 1944. It's about an insurance man who gets involved with a woman, and they hatch a plot, as you will see. Very entertaining, very suspenseful, and very much film noir visually, thematically. The second film is Blue Velvet, and it's a strange film, but it's tremendous. It's for my money one of the absolute best films of American films in the 1980s. And it really pushes the sort of surface world versus dirty underbelly of the world dynamic to an extreme. It's about a kid who comes home from sorry kid. It's about a college student who comes back from college because his father has taken ill, and he through a series of events, starting with a particularly gruesome discovery, he is drawn into the dark side of his hometown and criminal doings in his hometown. And on the surface, it's very kind of Pollyanna, very positive, very sweetness and light, as exemplified by it stars Kyle MacLachlan, who's a young, fresh-faced guy, and a very young Laura Dern, who's like the sort of platonic ideal of the girl next door. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's the surface. Underneath, Lumberton is a really there's some really ugly stuff going on. So, but it's a fascinating film. There are elements of it that make it an art film, which is a kind of genre type of film we can talk about later on. Anyway, very entertaining, very successful, very suspenseful is what I mean to say. Scary, I think, scary. I had the pleasure of seeing this in the theater a long time ago, and wow, there's a point in it where I didn't know what the hell was going to happen next, literally, and that kind of unpredictability. Quite frankly, is pretty rare in film. Okay, so please screen Double Indemnity and Blue Velvet. They are listed in the email that I've sent to accompany this video. You're going to have to dial them up and get them off streaming services, but they're both worth it. Yeah, that's what we'll do, and we'll go from there. So hit me with questions as we go along. Change the due date for your Hollywood Renaissance project, and I hope everybody has a safe and fun weekend. And I will talk to you on Monday. Let's plan to Zoom on Monday. Of course, I'll send support emails to that effect, and we'll get together and have a little bit of FaceTime, as they say. Okay, take care. Bye bye.